welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. So today I'm going to be showing you how you can achieve this art clown makeup look in honor of the release of Terrifier 2. I had every intention of watching Terrifier before filming this look, and I didn't do my homework. However, I am stoked about Terrifier 2 because I've already seen that apparently it has a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which, like, oh my gosh. And I actually had every intention of going to see Terrifier 2 while dressed like this. However, when filming this, it doesn't come out for 2 more days. So I'm just gonna sit here and look cute at home, looking like this. And hopefully you guys are sitting there looking cute, watching me look like this. It's all comes full circle. We're good. So anyways, in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how you can achieve this art clown makeup look by also doing some prosthetic pieces, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're not already, definitely make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel because it is October, and every weekday for the entire month of October, I'm going to be uploading a new Halloween themed makeup tutorial, which you guys don't want to miss. This is my 6th year doing this, and so I will have my playlist linked down below full of all of the Halloween makeup tutorials I have done over the last 5 and 6 years. So if you guys are interested, definitely make sure to check them out. And anyways, with all that being said, if you guys are interested in seeing how you can transform yourself into art from Terrifier this Halloween, then just keep watching. Hey Spoops, so to get started, we're going to be creating the prosthetic pieces for this look. I'm going to start off by taking out my life cast of my face and applying some petroleum jelly all over it to help make the removal process a little bit easier. Next, I'm going to be taking some liquid latex on a little wedge sponge, and I'm going to be applying this to the nose area. I'm going to be starting with the nose prosthetic. This is the one that I only originally intended on doing, and then looking at the photo more, I decided to add a few more pieces to help accentuate the look and make it look a little bit more authentic. So I'm just going to be adding a few layers of liquid latex onto the nose area, and I'm mostly doing this so that way whenever we apply the powder later, that it has thinner edges on this side. So yes, this is serving as a base for us to start to add our cotton balls like I am here. I'm just taking a small piece of the cotton ball and kind of forming it into a long triangular shape and then bringing it down towards the tip of the nose, and then I'm really going to start to focus on building up that tip. He has a very triangular nose that kind of hooks at the bottom and hangs off of his nose a little bit more, and so I'm going to be really focusing on that. And then I'm also going to be taking some extra little pieces of cotton ball too to kind of work on his nostrils. He does have some more flared nostrils, so I'm trying to build that up a little bit, as you can see. And then this definitely is really nice to help blend up the bridge of the nose, and that's why having those thin edges is really helpful, so that way it blends into the skin seamlessly whenever we do finish it and decide to apply it to our face. It is definitely helpful to try and make these prosthetics as smooth as possible, so as you can see, I'm just going to be taking some liquid latex and just applying it on top with my spatula to try and help make it look nice and smooth. And then I'm going to be working on the cheekbone prosthetics. Basically, I laid a little layer of liquid latex down on the cheekbone, and then I laid a cotton ball in a slight S curve up my cheekbone to I get the angle that I really like, and then I'm going to be blending out the edges with more liquid latex. I went ahead and did this on the other side of my face as well, and now we're going to be moving on to the chin prosthetic. Once again, I'm going to be laying down a nice thin layer of liquid latex onto the chin and the outer edges of my mouth for the edges of the prosthetic, and then I'm going to be laying down a U-shaped piece of a cotton ball and then blending the edges of that using some liquid latex. I'm even going to be adding another tiny piece of a cotton ball right on top to help blend this fake chin into what my regular chin would be. So it's just a small triangular piece, and then I'm going to be using liquid latex to blend that in. Art also has a double chin, so I'm going to be making an indent with my spatula into the very center of that chin piece, and then taking a tiny piece of cotton ball, I'm going to be applying that to either side of the chin to kind of make it jut out a little bit more at the bottom and help accentuate that double chin a little bit more. I did go ahead and leave that to dry overnight and came back in the morning and applied some baby powder all over the prosthetic so that way we can start removing it from the life cast. You want to pull up a tiny edge of the prosthetic and then apply more baby powder underneath as you start to remove it from the life cast. This ensures that both ends of the life cast are completely covered in the baby powder, which helps seals it and remove the tackiness from the bottom. Next, we're going to be moving on to the makeup application. We're going to be starting off by pulling our hair back because we actually have a cowl for this, which is amazing instead of having to use a bald cap because those are just a little bit more of a hassle for looks like this. And I will have this cowl specifically linked down below. And then also I'm going to be just taking this hat that I got off of Amazon, removing the extra frills that come with it, and then that is going to be our hat for him as well. Next, we're going to be popping in some black rim contact lenses, and then I'm going to be taking my Skin Saver lotion and applying this all over my face just to give it a nice protective barrier between my face and the prosthetic pieces. I'm then going to be going ahead and gluing down my eyebrows. I'm going to be taking an Elmer's washable glue stick, and using a spatula, I'm going to be scooping some out, applying it to my eyebrow, and then I like to use the warmth from my fingers to kind of meld that into my brow and smooth it out. And then if you happen to get any on your skin, I like to take a Q-tip with either some water or micellar water just to blend those edges out, and that's going to help make the brows not look quite so chunky whenever you go to apply the powder over it. So as you can see, I'm then going to be taking some baby powder on a wedge sponge and just sealing in that first layer. I ended up repeating this process 2 more times, which comes out to 3 layers of some of the glue stick and baby powder to really help cover my eyebrows completely. I'm then going to be taking my Buckle Bunny Beauty Color Correcting Concealer in Apricot, and I'm going to be applying 1 layer of this right over my brows before once again setting that with some baby powder, and this is really going to help completely cover them up. As you can see, there's a big difference. Next, we're going to be applying the prosthetics onto our face. I'm going to be taking my Ben Nye Spirit Gum on a Q-tip and going ahead and applying this to my nose and also to the inside of the prosthetic as well. I'm going to be tapping it to make it tacky, and then I'm going to be going ahead and applying that to my face, and then I'm going to be repeating the steps for the rest of the prosthetics, such as my chin and my cheekbones. Next, I'm going to be going back into the liquid latex on a wedge sponge, and I'm just going to be lightly doing 1 layer around some of the edges of these prosthetic pieces. This isn't quite required, but I felt that it helps blend in the edges a little bit more for the edges that happened to not be quite so thin. I just think it kind of does help with continuity purposes of, kind of making all of the edges look similar at least. But the good thing is that this is properly covered with paint, so that does help hide the edges a little bit more too. Once that is completely dry, I'm going to be setting my face with some more baby powder, and this is just going to help remove the tackiness from the prosthetic pieces. And then also I'm going to be going ahead and putting that cowl over my head, so that way we can move on to painting the prosthetics. I'm going to be taking my Made You Look body paint in Yeti, and I'm actually going to be using a variety of brushes. As you can see, I kind of started off with a fluffy foundation brush, and then I moved on to more thin paint brushes to get into some of the crevices and to fill in like my eyebrows and my forehead a little bit more. And then I kind of used some foundation brushes, some paint brushes, and honestly just whatever worked best for giving the best coverage on my face, especially since this is white body paint. This is a nice thick white body paint, so I find that it's a lot more opaque than most of them. However, it can still be sheer and you do need to do a few layers, and I'm even going to be using some baby powder in between these layers to kind of help set some of it before applying some more body paint over top as well. Next, I'm going to be setting my whole face with some baby powder before we move on to using some black body paint. I'm going to be taking my Made You Look body paint in ink, and I'm going to be focusing on the eye area first. I'm going to be creating some oval shapes around my eyes, which thankfully I did already start to manage to do in avoiding that area with the white body paint, but now I'm just going to be going ahead and filling it in, trying to make sure that they are both even shapes. And then once you have that completely filled in, I'm going to be going into my Carnival XL palette, and I'm going to be going ahead and setting this with some black eyeshadow. I'm then going to be going into my ColourPop Baroque palette, taking Bougie, and on a thin detail brush, I'm going to be going ahead and starting to create the outline of some forehead wrinkles. And then once that is complete, I'm going to be going back into my Made You Look body paint in ink, and I'm going to be focusing on creating the little triangular diamonds on his eyes. So I'm going to be first doing them on the top and the bottom, and as you can see, since we are applying it technically over some white body paint, it can tend to be a little bit more gray, so a step that is definitely definitely going to help with this is making sure to go into that black eyeshadow and setting this area with some black eyeshadow. This definitely helps make it look a little bit more opaque. And then as you can see, I'm going to be moving on to creating the little circular dot on the tip of his nose, and then also filling in my nostril areas with some black eyeshadow. I'm then going to be focusing on contouring my face a little bit, so going back into my ColourPop Baroque palette, I'm going to be first starting off with Bougie again, and I'm going to be creating some more forehead wrinkles, and then starting to deepen the contour right under the cheekbones, and then really start to accentuate some of the features that he has in his reference photos, so like having deepened sockets, a more pronounced chin. I really want to focus on starting that, and then I'm going to be mixing these two colors together and kind of focusing on deepening it up. So I'm going to be going back and forth between these two colors to really focus on deepening some of these contour areas. For example, his temples, you want them to be darker right around the rim and then get lighter the further away from the temple that you get. And then we just really want to start working on dimension and having sharper shadows and then fading them to the lighter color as well. I'm then going to be going back into my Made You Look body paint in ink, and we're going to be creating this circle around his mouth. So I definitely started to smile a little bit just so I can see how it looks, because he is honestly smiling the majority of the time. So I definitely want to make sure to follow that shape, but then also have it look normal whenever I'm not smiling too. And so I'm just going to be going ahead and filling that in completely before setting all of this with some of my Lights Out eyeshadow too. Moving back to the body paint, I'm going to be focusing on his fun upside down U-shaped eyebrows. I definitely try to get the shape in one go, and wherever the color is a little bit thinner, I actually went into my Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid black eyeliner to definitely thicken that up a little bit more and help make it look more opaque. I'm then going to be taking my ColourPop BFF Cream Gel Liner in Joyride, and I'm going to be tightlining my lower waterline, since in a lot of the posters he does have almost a red waterline. You could also use black if you like, but then I'm going to be going into my Buckle Bunny Beauty Black Pearl Eyeliner and tightlining my upper lash line. I'm then going to be taking my Tarte Maneater Mascara and lightly sweeping this through my eyelashes just to make sure that it blends in with the black around my eyes. This is not for glam purposes whatsoever. Then I'm going to be going back into my ColourPop Baroque palette, taking Bougie and Bebe, and in between these two colors, I'm going to be adding more shading and contouring to the rest of my face, and this is really going to help make our face shape look more similar to his, without having to have a full face of prosthetics that are all connected. So I'm mostly focusing on the nostril flare area, and then also blending this down the side of my mouth to my chin, so that way we can kind of have that enhanced smile, and I definitely want to add some shading around that mouth area as well, so it starts to look like certain areas of his face are more raised than others, and that some are more sunken in than others. Once again, this kind of saves us the time, so we didn't have to make a full prosthetic for our entire face like the actor does wear in the movie. We were able to kind of split it up into pieces. So I'm now following the eye socket area and kind of making a circular shape around that just above the cheekbone area, and then I'm adding more shading right around the cheekbone and in the very inner corner of my eye to help deepen that eye socket area some more. I'm then going to be applying some more of the shadows onto the areas of the prosthetic just to kind of help make them look like he has some cheek wrinkles a little bit. I'm going to be accentuating his forehead wrinkles and making his nose look a little bit more thinner and triangular with some shading as well, and then just adding some more shading to my cheekbone area too. And last but not least, we're focusing on his mouth coloring. I'm going to be starting off by taking some mouth blood, and I ended up finding that that was a little bit too bright, so then I'm going to be going into my Necessary Evil Pitch Black mouth drops and dropping a few of that into my mouth, and I definitely like the way that this looked a little bit more. And that is my completed Art the Clown makeup look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see next. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos. If you haven't already, please consider supporting me on Patreon, where you can get exclusive sneak peeks before anybody else. And with all of that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!